Hey, this is Phil from the Retrogamesnews.com. This officially is my first pickups video. Now I can remember first seeing a pickups video. I think it was either SNES-tastic or Roundhouse 87. I can remember at first thinking, wow, this seems a bit strange. Is this really a video of somebody, kind of showing them opening up a parcel and showing what games they bought either from eBay or Amazon or some shop somewhere? But then as I started to watch more and more of them, and of course I've recently subscribed to a lot of these channels, I started to get it and suddenly realised that, well, at the end of the day we all share this interest, common interest in games and retro games and stuff, and it's just kind of fun listening to other people talking about these games, and it sparks off little kind of memories and things of you playing them maybe when you were younger. Sometimes also, you've forgotten the name of a game. Recently, in fact, there was a PS1 game that I was thinking of getting back into my collection, and I completely forgot what it was called. And then lo and behold, SNES-tastic actually picked it up. It was Fighting Force, a great sort of 3D little beat 'em up, kind of like a 3D version of Double Dragon, I suppose, in some respects. But the other thing as well that I find interesting about these videos is when people talk about each of these games, and again sometimes they could be ones that you've forgotten about or you've just never seen before, people tend to give their own little kind of mini review. They talk about the game, what sort of game it is, what's good about it, what's bad about it, how much they picked it up for, so you get an idea of sort of price and things. And I think there's a lot of value in that, and that's why I find it entertaining, and probably why lots of us like to watch these kind of videos. So hopefully I'm not going to make a complete hash of mine, and feel free to comment on anything below on anything that I say. So picked up some stuff recently that I want to show you. Some are not really strictly speaking retro games, a couple of them are, and other bits and pieces that I've got along the way. So this first one, again, it's obviously not a retro game. It's only about a month or two old. Deus Ex, which I got from Game. Now, just a little, just something to note. These sort of games, which are very linear, I would always say to people, if you can, wait a month or two, because this sort of thing is the sort of game where people, they buy it as soon as it comes out, they cane it over the weekend, and then they're bringing it back to the shop the following Monday. This was about 39 quid when it first came out, and probably more in some places. I saw it then come down to about 20 quid after literally 3 weeks or so, and then finally I saw this for 12 quid, and I thought, okay, for that price, definitely want to pick this up, because I've been waiting about 5 years for a sequel to the last one, which was on the Xbox One. Great game, but like I say, probably won't take too long to complete. About 12 quid. Next one's a game that I've been wanting to get for quite a while. I'm a big Aliens fan and Predators fan. It's probably 99% of blokes on the planet. Seen this a few places for sort of 6-7 quid. 8 quid in some places, but funny enough, right in the heart of London, in the Computer Exchange, CEX, just off of Tottenham Court Road, I saw it for the cheapest price, which is kind of weird because normally you think, centre of London has to be more expensive, maybe because there's more competition, I suppose. Anyway, Alien vs Predator, got that for 5 quid, and even if you play it for a couple of hours for 5 quid, it's worth a punt. So you can play either as the Alien, the Predator, or the Space Marines. And in true pickups video style, here it is. You can see it's all complete. Got a nice manual, almost mint condition. The disc is certainly mint and plays perfectly well. It's got a reasonably good little deathmatch thing as well if you want to play it on live. Anyway, 5 quid, can't grumble. Now the next one I was very happy to see. It's very rare now do you see Sega Saturn games in these sort of exchange places. I guess it's not really a market for it now, and it's taking up sort of valuable floor space. But popped into cash converters in sunny Croydon, and I saw this one, actual golf, for £1.50, and I don't care what it's going to be. For £1.50, if it's on the Sega Saturn, I'm going to be picking it up. Got fond memories of this game. A friend of mine had the PS1 version. It's got commentary from, what's his name, Peter Alice is the voice of golf. It says funny little quips, if you knock it in the water or if you whack it too hard, and he makes these sort of funny little comments. Like I said, never played it on the Saturn, so It's in not too bad nick. The top little bit of a tear there, which I can just sellotape or glue. But you know, as most people know, with the Sega Saturn, these games, these boxes, they need some looking after. It's got this huge, thick manual. Goodness knows what all that is. I suppose a lot of it's just different languages and stuff. The disc is in absolute mint condition. It's bizarre. It's almost like it's not been played. And I think this is a good. It's got to be 10 years old or so. But what I really was quite surprised when I opened this up, and this is great. Number one, you've got the person's written down all their scores. It's funny that they've left this all in here, but it's got all the different holes that he's played, what score he got, the par, 6 under par for this one here. Longest score of the longest drives, and some handwritten notes here as well, on a bit of paper. 18th of May 2000, he was playing this. Royal Island. He was 10 under par, so he was doing pretty well. He's obviously played this a lot. But here's the greatest thing, right? He's obviously played this all the way through and won the cup, the actual cup. His name's obviously Andy because he's taken a photo, of the screen, and this looks like it was developed in Boots. I recognise the sort of big map prints they were doing at one point. But he's taken a photo as a sort of a keepsake, and he's kept that in the box. Which, you know, I'm going to keep this because, from a nerdy point of view, I think this is great. I think this is fun that someone's done that, and it's a little bit of history there. Yeah, it just shows just how sad I am, I suppose, but I don't really care. It's funny actually, people talk about being sad and nerdy and things, but you know, who's to say that someone who collects tons of novels or a woman who collects 50 pairs of shoes isn't nerdy either, you know? So sometimes people, they criticise people, they should look at themselves first, you know, maybe they do something that's nerdy as well. At the end of the day, as you get older, you understand that you just don't need to care what other people think. If you enjoy it, then you do it, that's all that matters. Right, a couple of other little bits. Again, this is not old, but it's in the sort of retro theme, I suppose. Quick plug for this month's Retro Gamer Christmas special. We've got the recreation there of the Crash Christmas edition. For anybody who's a Zap 64 fan, which of course was the Commodore magazine in the UK, there is, if I can find it, I think it's page 76. Got a six page making of Zap 64 special. Some rare photos and anecdotes and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's and it's got all the usual stuff as well, as you'd expect. Okay, so worth picking up. It's only, was it $4.99? And then also something that I bought from eBay. Okay, which I've already opened. I'm not going to pretend that I've not opened this already, but. This is from an eBay called PJ Firestorm. Little plug for him. It was very well packaged and everything, so check him out on eBay. So this is 2005 edition of Retro Gamer. As you can see, it's changed a little bit since then. It's definitely a bit thicker now as well. This is quite thin, but I think now because the retro scene's really taken off, so there's kind of more stuff happening. This came with a cover disc. Of The Last Ninja. Basically, I think this is complete with emulators, so it's probably just the original versions on the 64 Spectrum, Amstrad and NES, and then I've got the emulators that allow you to play it, so have some fun with that. But the real reason why I bought this, again, I'm a big Zap 64 fan. There was a one-off kind of edition of Zap 64, which is a combination of, again, the making of. You can only get this by getting this specific Retro Gamer edition. It's got sort of articles on the people that reviewed it and the editors and what they're kind of doing now. Chris Anderson, he went up to really big things. He's the founder of TED, the sort of online education website. He's doing very well for himself. Some rare pictures of Gary Penn and Julian Rignall at a Commodore show. This was in 1985. They were kind of treated like royalty, almost like kind of rock stars, people queuing up for miles to get their autograph. The third reviewer, Paul Sumner, or Summer, maybe it's a silent N, I don't know. But funny thing was, he wasn't actually reviewing the games at all. They just needed a third person, so it was actually Gary Penn and Julian Rignall that were writing as a sort of under this kind of pseudonym. This bloke, of course, does exist, but his name's Dominic. Just a random guy, I think a friend of theirs that used to pop in now and then. So yeah, again, it's got the makings of Zap Towers itself. It's even got the floor plan. Picture of Roger Keane in the swimming pool. Quite sure what that's all about. And it's also got some really nice... Oh, it's got an interview with Jeff Minton. And it's got reprints, nice high quality reprints of some of the original reviews back in Zap. All good fun, so I shall be having a good read of that later on. School Days, another classic game. Anyway, so that's the end of my my first pickups video. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I say, please leave any comments below. I'd like to get your feedback on pickup videos. You know, and also this thing of I know a lot of people collect games that they don't even have a system for yet. You know, there's a fine line between collecting and addiction, and I must admit at times I buy stuff and I think, if I stop long enough to think, you know, why do I really want this, I probably wouldn't buy it. But you know, I've bought games for systems I don't even own, and I see a lot of people doing the same thing. So you've got to be a bit careful sometimes. You maybe got to limit yourself a bit. But anyway, it's a nice hobby, and it's good. Again, it's good fun. So who cares, right? So please subscribe if you haven't already, or share this video. Comments below, that'd be fantastic. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and speak to you soon. Take care.